Hey guys, Cairo here, and welcome back to a brand new video series on the channel. I will start off by saying a lot of the footage you are about to see in the background has been pre-recorded, as I have a bit of a story I want to talk to you guys about, and I just can't do that while PvPing. You guys have seen it, so the PvP footage you are seeing in the background has all been pre-recorded. Now, let's just hop into the main video. In this series, I'm going to be deep diving into the forgotten side of media. The side where many people looking back on an era of media, they may not remember it, or they may not see it the way they used to. And today our story starts here, our Cartoon Network. You probably remember Cartoon Network for so many of its amazing animated shows, like Adventure Time, Regular Show, and Ben 10, to name a few. But that's not what we're going to be talking about today. It starts here, in the year 2012. Cartoon Network tried something very different. A live action show about video games coming to life. The show is called Level Up. Level Up was a show that had basically monsters escaping a video game, Mardark, Destroyer of Worlds. And the story revolved around the creatures from the game escaping, teens fighting them in RPG style like episodes where basically characters in the show would follow classes in the game, like either wizards, rogues, fighters, all that fun stuff. And for a brief moment, it seemed like it was going somewhere. It looked like it might actually become a big hit. But it, after 2 seasons of the show, it vanished. There was there was no series finale, nothing to tap the loose ends. It just completely disappeared. It was just gone as quickly as it came. So what happened to Level Up? That's what we're going to be talking about today. Before the show existed, it actually started off as a TV movie. And it was very clever. A group of teenagers discover that villains from and enemies from their favorite video game were bleeding into the real world. And it was a great idea because it just worked. Video games were starting to become more and more common. People were getting just diving into games. So it made sense for Cartoon Network to try something like this. And with the main characters being classes from video games, being like a wizard, a warrior, and a rogue, respectively, for Wyatt, Dante, and Lyle, the three main characters of the show. And it pulled in millions of viewers when it first aired because it mixed something that was becoming popular at the time, gaming. And so Cartoon Network decided to turn it into a full series in early 2012. It had so much potential, but potential doesn't make a successful show. It, it tried to expand upon the world that the show wanted. They had to, the characters had to track down monsters from their game, fight bosses, level up just like you would an RPG. And that's kind of how the show functioned. But it had just a big problem. Cartoon Network wasn't the place for live action shows. They, around 2009 to 2013, Cartoon Network was kind of in a weird phase. They were trying to move away from animation and have live action shows. But that just wasn't working. It felt forced. Like some of their popular shows that they had of live action were like Destroy Build Destroy, A Natural History, and Tower Prep, but they just weren't pulling in the numbers that animation was for them. Especially with channels like Disney and Nick that primarily did have live action shows, like Nick having like iCarly and Victorious. It just wasn't working. The audiences weren't happy with the way the show was going. They and many felt that Cartoon Network should just stick to the cartoons they were working that were working at the time. So Cartoon Network made the choice to heavily move away from live action shows, especially with shows like Level Up not performing to the standards they wanted. So it really did put Level Up specifically in a very awkward position, especially due to the show facing many problems due to its limited budget, forcing like them to cut back on so many aspects of the show, from especially the CGI monsters. It made them feel cheap in a sense, like samey and just not really like lively like the movie and the hype brought it out to be. So by 2013, Cartoon Network was primarily focusing back on animation. They started bringing out shows like Adventure Time, Regular Show, Gumball. These are shows that people to this day still talk about, still watch. Like Adventure Time, it now has Fiona and Cake. It has Distant Worlds. It had Obsidian. We have The Amazing World of Gumball Revival. They finally got the new season, and potentially rumors about the movie still being on. Even Regular Show now, it's getting a reboot. Well, not really a reboot, but it's getting more. People love the animation side of Cartoon Network, but just the live action that Cartoon Network tried, it wasn't working because their their massive hits were just animation, not live action. So the live action show just didn't fit their brand anymore. So by 2013, Cartoon Network just pulled the show. No series finale, nothing. It just stopped airing after season 2 finished. And it slowly just faded away into obscurity, with people not even remembering the show to begin with. Level Up was such a cool idea. It's the show that, I'm gonna be honest, it got me into gaming. I saw the show, I saw the movie growing up, and it was amazing. I loved it. It got me into gaming, and all these years later, if I never saw that show, I probably wouldn't be making this video. But the show just it came out at a wrong time. It wasn't pulling what it needed to. And the concept honestly would probably work amazing to this in this day and age, where people play video games for a living, where people, you know, play video games like majority of the time. It would probably work amazing in this day and age, but it just didn't work. So Level Up became a casualty of the transition between animation and live action, where they tried to do live action, but it wasn't working. And today, it stands as a strange piece of media that Cartoon Network tried and pulled as quietly as they came. And that's basically the story of Level Up, a show that had so much potential, but was quietly pulled and was never given the proper finish to the story that's tried. But what do you guys think? Was Level Up or was any of the Cartoon Network live action shows that they tried really worth pulling? Or do you think they could work nowadays in a different era of cartoons, or do you think that it was the right time to pull them? Let me know down in the comments, and thank you all so much for watching, because that is a story of Level Up. A show that tried to do something, but it didn't work, especially for its time and era. And guys, thank you all so much for watching. I know this is a very different video than the type I'm used to making. You guys, you usually are seeing me PvP. You guys are usually seeing me, you know, rant about random stuff. You're not used to seeing scripted content on this channel. So if you like what you saw today, let me know in the comments down below. And thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out.